message is, let's be honest, what do we really believe? Let me introduce you to Brother Rickay. Rickay believes that a man is responsible for his actions. He believes that a man ought to do all that he can for his church and for his community. He believes a man should have the respect of others and should respect others himself. He believes a man ought to be an example for others to follow. He has encouraged other men to adopt his belief. Now, how many of you would say that Rickay is a pretty decent fellow? Let me see the hands. Pretty decent, all right. Some of y'all just suspicious of everybody. Now, suppose I went on and I told you a little bit more about Rickay. Suppose I told you that Rickay has had 5 kids by 5 women in the last 3 years and quits his job to avoid child support. Suppose I told you that he's been arrested 3 times for domestic violence, that he smokes marijuana in order to keep an even keel and calm his nerves. How many of you still think Rickay is an all right fellow? He's dropping fast. Let me ask you this. Is there anything wrong with what Rickay believes? No. What's wrong with Rickay? Okay, Rickay's actions and what he does are 2 separate things. Do you know that one of the scariest things we can do as believers is to be honest about what we actually believe? Now, because we have communion today, we are going to say the Apostles' Creed to affirm what we say we believe. Now, there are 3 different kinds of ways to believe. There is what I say I believe. There is what I think I believe. And there is what I reveal that I believe. Now, have you ever said something to give somebody the wrong impression because you were trying to protect your image? If a good friend of yours came up to you with this dress on and she said, "What do you think of this dress?" And you think it's the worst looking dress you've ever seen in your life, what are you going to do? Well, it's interesting. It's unique. Certainly different. What you are saying and what you are believing are not quite the same thing. But you say it because you've got an image you want to protect with this other person. Now, a good example of protecting an image is that of Judas, who betrayed Christ. You remember the time when Jesus was there at this person's house, and this woman pours this expensive perfume on Jesus. And Judas gets just downright upset. Judas says, "What a waste! This perfume could have been sold and the money given to the poor." What's his public image? I am concerned about poor people, and whatever we can do to help them, we ought to. But the scriptures goes on to say, he didn't care a thing about poor people. He was a thief and was helping himself to the money that came into the treasury. So his public image was one thing, but that's not who he really was. You know, in our Old Testament reading, when Eve told the serpent, "God told us not to even touch the fruit or we will die." She was building this public image of her and Adam that they were so holy and righteous that they wouldn't even come close to touching that fruit. I mean, you know, there's a temptation for us as Christians to pretend we are walking closer to God than we really are. We say the right words to make people think we are more holy than we truly are. It's like public image. The second form of believing we do is when we actually believe something is true, but later circumstances reveal that belief is not what we thought it was. For instance, anybody here ever have a crush on somebody? You sincerely believe that person is the pop, that person got it, if I could spend the rest of my life with that person, whoa! But then you found out that person was not what you thought he or she was. And not only are you not interested in spending your life with them, if they packed up and moved to Antarctica, you could care less. Quick phase you 1 minute. Now Adam and Eve, they sincerely believed that if they ate from this fruit of the tree, they would become just like God. And at that moment, nobody could have told them anything differently. Sometimes when we have made up our minds and we say, I believe this is it, this is what I'm going to do, and nobody is going to stop me, we can be sincere in what we believe and genuinely believe we are taking the right stuff, but circumstances later on will come to have us believe that belief was a mistake. That decision was a bad one. And we start to wish we had listened to the advice of others. Now, the third form of believing is what we base our daily lives on. By looking at me long enough and following after me for a long enough period of time, you can tell what I really believe. You can tell what I really accept as fact. Because my actions are going to line up with what I really believe. Now, one of the things we believe in more than Jesus, even though we've never seen it, we've never touched it, we've never tasted it, we all believe in it, it's called gravity. Because we believe in gravity, there are some things we simply do not even try. For instance, if you were on the 5th floor of a building and you were late for an appointment and you looked out the window and you saw your car right there, what's the quickest way to get to your car? All you gotta do is let out that window and swoosh. But most of us aren't going to do that. Even though we are in a hurry, we gotta go off the room, find the door, go down the steps, or go down the elevator, and waste 5 minutes. Why? Because we have a belief in gravity. And we believe that even though this is a shortcut, this is not a wise cut. Gravity causes us to do a whole lot of things. Because I believe in gravity, I don't go and just leave this cup over here and expect it to be here when I get back. I know where it's going. I have never once gone outside, looked up at the sun and said, damn, when I jump, I sure hope I don't reach the sun this time.